everyone, I hope you're well. Today I'll be looking at doing a video as well as an article for this week's topic, and today we'll be looking at advice. It slightly follows on from last week's topic of helping the youth, as I'm aiming to direct these tips towards teenagers, but as adults we can really use them, and honestly I wish I knew them sooner. Alright guys, so let's get straight into it, starting with tip number 1. Alright guys, the first tip deals with the fact that you should not let the opinions of other people define who you are. People are going to say things to you, they might be critical, they might be hurtful, but you need to learn when to use advice and when to lose advice. There is a big difference between criticism and constructive criticism. So guys, if something sits well with your core, if it sits well with your values and who you are, use it. If it doesn't sit well with who you are and you know it is untrue, lose it. Develop some thicker skin, develop a backbone, and learn to not let it affect you. Which brings me to tip number 2. Alright guys, tip number 2 deals with not letting people bully you and working on that backbone. There is nothing wrong with admitting that someone is bullying you. Sometimes it is fearful. I remember in school, how were you afraid of a bully? Because every time they told you, if you reported them to the teacher or to your parents, they would meet you in the park after school and make things worse for you. And it never happened. It's just a tactic bullies use. And it doesn't do well with your backbone. So the only thing to do is to face that challenge head on and learn to not take bullying. It reminds me of a quote that Alan Watts said. Don't quite remember all the words. 1 second. Alright. So Alan Watts said this: the only way to handle danger is to face it. If you start getting frightened of it, you make it worse because you project onto it all kinds of threats that do not exist at all. The rule about all terrors is to head straight into them. When you are sailing on a boat in a storm, you never let the wave hit you on the side of the boat. You go bow into the wave and you ride it. I think that's pretty good advice. Which brings me to tip number 3. Alright guys, tip number 3 deals with taking advice from others. Alright, this video, your elders, your parents, guys, I was there, growing up, your parents would tell you to not do this, or don't get out too late, or, don't hang out with these people, and you're like, yeah, whatever mom, I know better than you, all I need are my friends, I'm cool, you're not. Guys, the fact is adults have bumped their nose before, they've been through the problems that you are going through, the challenges. And when they offer you advice, guys, it is coming from a place of love. They don't want you to go through the pain they went through, and they are trying to coach you or guide you out of it. So guys, take advice from other people. And speaking of friends, that brings me to tip number 4. Alright guys, there's a quote by Jim Rohn, however you say it. He said that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Let that sink in, guys. If you've got any challenges in your life, if you've got any doubts, anything, think about the people you hang out with. Who have values that you do not like? This is a bitter pill for some people to swallow, choosing your friends more wisely, or just hanging out with people that lift you up more. So you've got to be with friends who lift you up, who support you, and who are there for you all the time. You are the average of those 5 people. And if you want to improve personally, you've got to put yourself in situations where you are with people who are better than you more often, so that they can build you up. It's just how it works, guys. It's an amazing thing. I have a fantastic group of friends, more than 5, and yeah, they've helped me in ways that they don't even know, and I'm hoping that in some ways I can help them as well. And that brings me to tip number 5. Guys, this deals a bit with the backbone issue, but this is more to the point. Stop getting offended. Guys, we've all seen it, right? We've seen all these videos, all these memes about, since when did this generation of teenagers become so offended by words? I get it, guys. Words hurt. I was bullied through a lot of my relationships from childhood through adulthood, and I've learned to stop letting it get to me, and I've learned to actually have a backbone and stand up for myself. The fact is, offending someone is not good, but when you are constantly being offended by stuff that doesn't matter, guys, develop a backbone, grow some thicker skin. If someone says something to you on social media, guys, or you see a meme or a video on social media, more often than not, it is purely for humor. Grow some thicker skin and don't take it too personally, guys. We are getting too offended by everything. People are People are getting offended because they don't have enough likes on a photo that they posted. People are getting offended because they have 100 less Instagram followers than someone else. I mean, guys, there are better things to worry about than that right now. So get some thicker skin, learn to focus on stuff that's more important to you. Getting offended by these sorts of things, especially social media, is actually destructive behavior, and that actually lowers your level of self-confidence. So just look at it from that perspective and see what you can do to just develop that thicker skin and not let what other people say or the actions or inactions of other people offend you as much, guys. And that brings me to tip number 6. All right, guys, tip number 6 ties into a bit of the first, into number 5, sorry, which is to not get offended by things so much. And one of the ways you can be less offended by social media is to cut down on social media. It is great for business. I use it. This is coming to you via social media. It's super great for business and for keeping up with friends. But guys, learn to detox. Learn to just take a little bit less, and that leads into other ways you can take care of yourself. Don't drink too much, guys. Yeah, you've heard it before. Don't drink, don't do drugs, all that stuff. But guys, I know family and friends who have been down a path before where they've been drinking way too much. Their health deteriorates. They're not admired in social circles. Guys, it's really bad. Just look around you. I'm sure you've got friends or family members who drink too much. You don't want to be that person. There are days when it's cool, when it's your 21st, when you're having a big party. Totally get it. But guys, just try to be more responsible. It is not cool. I look back at my 21st and at my 30th and I think, it was cool, but was it really? I didn't get to socialize much with the people that were there because I was completely plastered within the first few hours of my 21st. And the next day I felt completely terrible, both sick and because I didn't talk to my friends. So guys, learn to just take that one back a bit. And we now go to step number 7. Guys, step number 7, here we go. Learn to fail gracefully. What do I mean by this? So we've all failed at something. Lost a rugby game at school, failed a test, failed a driver's license, failed an exam, failed the year, possibly, failed a relationship, failed a job at the office. They suck. I'm not saying that they don't, but guys, learn to fail gracefully. You've done your best, all right? And you either win or you learn. So if you've invested a lot of time and money into something that's really important to you and it doesn't work out, I get it. It really does suck. But you know what not to do next time. Okay, you've got lessons, you can teach someone else, you can give advice to them on what not to do, and you can do better next time, guys. So fail with grace, see them as lessons, and never ever give up. And speaking of failure, brings us to number 8. Alright guys, number 8 deals with failed relationships. Breakups suck. Alright, broken hearts, they are not good. You need time to grieve. Alright, and if you are going through a failed relationship, the only bit of advice I can give you is to talk to your man, me. Book a free discovery call on my website. I'll put a link in the description. We can chat about it and we can set up a nice program tailored to you where you'll have just the right amount of time to grieve and to rebuild your confidence that you can back out there into the dating game. So guys, never be afraid to take advice and fail gracefully. You will get to a better relationship. And don't give up just because you've got a broken one now. We can work on that to improve it. Going to step number 9. Alright guys, step number 9 deals with working hard. Yeah, we've all worked hard. I remember times when I didn't sleep for 2 nights in a row and maybe 1 hour of sleep the next night to finish a deadline at university, or stayed late at the office to finish something and still go a full day the next day, tired, headache, energy drinks. We've all been there. And if you haven't, guys, let me tell you, the rewards are so worth it. When you work hard for something and you've really put your sweat and your power and passion and everything into it, it pays off, guys. Might not be right now, but later on it pays off. You'll look back and you'll say, man, I'm so glad that I worked as hard as I did that day, because today I have earned whatever it is. Hypothetically speaking, I'll use an example that I touched in my article. When I bought my Xbox 360. We're talking years ago. I saved up money for it. I worked hard. I put aside money, and when I got it, I looked after it. Right? I really looked after it. And that brings me to step number 10. Alright guys, so step number 10 is a quick tie into number 9, and that's about having gratitude. So I worked hard for that Xbox 360 console. I looked after it, man. When I wasn't using it, I unplugged it. I covered it with this black cloth to minimize the amount of dust that would get inside of it. I made sure it was suitably ventilated, holes in the back of the cupboard and the drawer. There was like a display shelf that dropped down. I made sure this thing was looked after properly. I even installed the games to the hard drive so that the disc didn't spin the whole time while you were playing it. It was crazy, but I did that because I worked hard and I knew the value of what I'd bought, what I'd saved up to buy. And the point is, guys, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here. A lot of people just get given stuff. I've seen it my whole life growing up. People just get given stuff on a silver plate. And if you get offended by this, guys, go back a few steps about not taking offense, all right? I feel like I need to say this. Not everyone is selfish. So that's not what I'm saying here. But when you get given stuff, and you know that if it breaks, you can just get another one, you don't really appreciate it. You're not grateful for what you've got. So the point I'm trying to make here is have gratitude for what you have. Anything that you've earned or everything that you've earned. If you have yourself a cup of coffee in the morning, be grateful that you've got that cup of coffee. Not everyone has that. If you have yourself a nice meal or you watch TV and you've got a nice big TV at home, look after it. Have gratitude. There's people who don't have that. And it ties into working hard because you've earned it. But have gratitude that you do have it, guys. Gratitude can go a long way to just making you more humble and making you more appreciative of everything that's around you. Which leads me to step number 11. Guys, step number 11 is be nice. What do I mean by this? So, tying to gratitude, let's say, for example, you've had a long day at work. It's a really long day. You get home, you're tired. You've got stuff in your grocery cupboard. You can make dinner, right? But no, it's easier for you to just sit back on the couch and order takeouts. Fine. We've all done that. I've done it. What I'm asking you to consider is to just be nice. Go one step further. All right? This is just something I do. You don't have to do it, but it's one thing I do to be nice. I make sacrifices in terms of the number of times I get takeout foods. So let's say for me, I do live alone. Let's say I want to get pizza one night. Okay? Let's call it delivery fees, restaurant fees, plus tipping the driver. I'm looking at maybe 130, 140 Rand. All right? Maybe 150, depending. So, cool, it's not so much, but here's where it comes. If I buy those ingredients on my own, from the shops, I'm paying pizza base, and I buy tomatoes and everything I need to make the pizza, and I then put the pizza in the oven, the amount of time it takes me to prepare that pizza is arguably the same if I preheat the oven and if I work smart. It's arguably the same amount of time as it would take for your food to arrive from the time you order it, delivery charges, all that stuff. Plus, 9 times out of 10, you get your pizza, it's cold, you warm it up in the oven anyway, right? But it does cost me about 40% less. It's a conscious decision I make because when I go shopping, I buy those ingredients, and with that 40% that's left over, I buy a food parcel. Doesn't cost a lot, maybe 40, 50 Rand, a bag of mini meal, 6 eggs, and a liter of long life milk. And I give it to someone at the traffic light on the way home. Now, I know what most of you are going to think, or say rather. You'll say, you shouldn't give them food at the traffic light, you're supporting their behavior, they should get a job. Maybe, that's your belief, you're entitled to it. Or, another beggar at a traffic light, why should I give them food, they should get a job? Fine, you're entitled to your point of view. But let me tell you something. I'm a qualified architect. I haven't been able to find a job since May, since I was retrenched. Guys, the economy and the employment rate are terrible globally, not just in South Africa. So, by you making that sacrifice, by you, instead of ordering takeouts all the time, you once in a while choose to make it at home and put aside that money that you would have spent on the rest of the takeout plus delivery plus tip, and you buy someone a food parcel at the traffic light. That's what I call going out of your way to be nice to someone. You're making a personal sacrifice and you are helping someone else. That bag of millipap, 6 eggs and a liter of milk can feed a small family of 4 for 2 meals. So just think about that, guys. It's not meant to offend you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, but this is just something I do. It's something I do to be nice to others. You don't have to do that. Maybe you could give an extra tip to the guy who comes to deliver your food, knowing that, you know, he's driving in the cold, in the rain sometimes to bring you your food. He doesn't have a lot of money. He would probably want to be doing something else. So maybe just double his tip, you know, or when you next go to a restaurant, don't give exactly 10%. You know, do 15. You know, my friends know this drives me up the wall when the bill gets passed around, and, you know, my friends are pretty good at it actually, but, you know, we've been in larger groups. You know, when it comes to me getting the bill, I kid you not, it'll sometimes say 143. Like, someone didn't want to add 2 rand more to make it 145. To that waiter, it means the world of difference. You know, also my mind just likes to add 5s and 0s better than 3s and 2s, but it just makes the world of difference, guys. Just, it's 1% more, not even, to what you were going to pay. And it's a conscious decision and a conscious effort to be nicer to people. You know, I've harped on about being nice for probably a little bit too long. The video is getting a bit longer than I wanted it to, but guys, there's an important reason for that. Because the feeling you get when you've gone out of your way to help someone else, when you've made a small sacrifice to improve the lives of someone else, either by giving advice, by being nice, showing gratitude, anything, guys, it changes who you are. It makes you more appreciative, more humble. It just changes your whole outlook on everything, guys. And even if you do it once a week, it's fine. Just do something for someone else. Give them advice, give them a call, give them a bit extra. Guys, yeah, a lot of this video was unplanned. I made notes, I checked them, and I came back and I did a talk. So I'm speaking from the heart here, guys. And I hope you're having an awesome week. I wish an awesome week further. Remember, stay inspired, stay awesome, and love always, and healthy. Cheers.